Good afternoon, Speed Gaming 2, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. We are now entering week number 2. The group stage continues, and here we have this match between PowerToMario and Drieky. Hey, everybody. I'm being joined by Reg. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am very much looking forward to seeing what these runners have to offer, seeing what kind of race we get out of them. We are playing some standard boots today, which means we're going to run through the castle, save Zelda, all the good stuff. We start with boots. We do not start with a sword, though.
Yeah, we will get those things in due time. We'll get the sword in due time. All right, what do you think we're going to get from the uncle?
I like seeing the bow most off the uncle. I have a hunch we're going to see the 10 bombs, though.
Well, we are seeing Drieky getting ready to set things up with the joypad, make sure they get their configuration correct as this race is about to begin. And tell me, is this the first appearance for either of these runners in the main tournament?
So, no. Even just this year, this is actually the second game for both runners. PowerToMario had a race against Big Dunka, Drieky had a race against Tam. And unfortunately, both of these runners were on the losing side of that race, so both of them looking to bounce back here and get a win under their belts, try to move back in the competition there. Take second, maybe even try to slide into first.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult to do. I do believe these are the third and fourth quartiles of this group, and they are up against Big Dunka and Tam, which is a really, really tough draw.
Yep, tough draw for both, and like I said, we did see both of these already on the losing side.
Blue 4 and 2, Blue Pendant 4 and 2 are your layouts here for the Dungeons in the Light World. Eastern Palace being the pendant.
Yep. We're seeing a lot of 10s in the item pickup so far. 10 bombs, 10 rupees, or 10 arrows, excuse me. 50 rupees though, which is just 5 10s.
All right, PowerToMario is going to be showing off, and this is what is interesting about a bomb escape. You get to see how much these runners have practiced here.
Yeah, because there are strats for each room where you've got to kill guards here.
We'll get to see how PowerToMario does with this upcoming first room. It's all about timing of when you lay down those bombs and hoping that the blue guard will wind up running into it. Looks like he's got a strat solid pretty good. Let's see how Drieky does. Looks like both runners selecting the right side, yeah.
Yep, so...
Although, Drieky does need to be a little careful down to that one heart.
Yeah, he'll pick up the one under the pot we just saw from PowerToMario. That'll put him on 2, but that's...
He won't.
Oh, he's... Okay, then. Very much danger zone for Drieky here. We'll see how it goes, because he's got 2 more guards to kill before the next chance at a heart pickup.
Yeah, and you cannot walk into any of the bombs.
Right. Unfortunately, doing that is why he's in the danger zone to begin with.
Yeah, and he grabs that heart, though. All right, PowerToMario. Looks like both runners are just being the patient here with this blue guard.
Yep. Which makes a good chunk of sense. PowerToMario used a damage strat, self-damage, on that first bomb, so had to be careful with the second.
Mm-hmm. And as you pointed out, there are strats that runners do have for these particular rooms. Now, of course, there's one other room we're going to have to be concerned about when it comes to combat. We're going to kill this guard here with the 2 pots because, let's just say we don't have 8 bombs at this time to kill that guard.
Yeah, and when pots do 4 times the damage, it's just the fast strategy, too.
Yeah. PowerToMario just a little bit of a issue there trying to hit the dash button, but gets it going here. Pretty much nothing else to really report as far as this escape is concerned. We already have the key, so we're going to be getting 5 items for the remainder of this escape because the map was vanilla.
Yep. And we see both runners here on 5 bombs, which is exactly what you would expect, but it does worth mentioning here the boot start means we don't need a bomb to blow open a wall in the back of the sewers. We can just bonk into that and it'll open up. Which means that there's a bit more lenience for things to go wrong with the key wrap that you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, but you really want to still, even if the key rat decides it's going to give you issues, you want to try to maintain bombs for the upcoming trip to Kakariko Village.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's just in the worst case scenario, which does happen, even though we want the runners to not have to deal with it.
Well, yeah. Worst case scenario is that you bonk into the rocks left of the fortune teller before the village and get yourself singles.
Yeah.
Or we find 3 in a chest.
That's always nice. Because, yeah, like you were saying, Kakariko, ideally, you want at least 4 bombs for that coming in. You can make do on less, but it's a little bit annoying.
PowerToMario is using the Sonic Mania soundtrack for this race. Misfired on the key rat, who was moving all the way to the top left corner. Nice job there by Drieky, catching that key rat, who ended up RNG for Drieky's side, going towards the right. Nice fire of the bomb. And there's some more bombs, because why not? Ice Rod, bow!
Very good items to find here, because bow and ice rod don't actually block very much individually. So just having both and not having to worry about those later in the seed is great. And then in particular, super early bows, well, Eastern Palace is a pendant this seed, but opens that up.
And there is a red boomerang to end things off for this journey.
Yep. We'll hit up the bonk rocks right here real quick since we've already got the boots. No reason to skip it, even though it's not actually part of the escape area.
Yeah, but this is logical.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, we'll see a green 20 somewhere that replaces what would have been the boots, but logic only cares that we start with them.
Yep. So somebody in chat asking about the progressive to the bows. In this mode and all 4 of the non-open modes to this tournament. And what I mean by that is, except for open hard, I should phrase it better, except for open hard, bows will be progressive.
Yeah, it's just a quirk of the hard item pool that has them non-progressive. So here they're progressive, boss shuffle they're progressive, bad keys they're progressive, and Broja also progressive.
Yep, just open hard. There's the silver scepter from the bow, which can make things interesting every now and then.
Also, speaking of bows, we see the 10 arrows there. Same 10 arrows we saw on the lumberjack, so not going to go kill Ganon for that.
Why?
Because we can get arrows pretty much anywhere else. Why would we want to kill him for 10 of them?
Are you really speaking logic to me?
Absolutely.
I'll allow this.
Of course, the problem here is we might still need to kill Ganon for just generic Dark World access. That's not off the table until we can actually get to the Dark World. But for those arrows, let's not.
Yeah, probably a big time sink in order to get yourself 10 arrows there. As we find 301 rupees so far. Our first bottle in a convenient spot, and more bombs, because why not?
Yeah, both runners already on 10 entering the village, but getting at least the 1 refund there. And the mushroom.
our Fetch Quest Mushroom. So you mentioned that this is the second race for both of these runners. So how important do you feel it is for the runner to get the win in this race in such a stacked group with Big Duncan and Tam?
I think for both of these runners, they've got to be looking at this as must win if they want to have any chance at bringing it back and getting a top 2 position out of the group. Because if you lose here, then
I mean, you're not
Duncan and Tam not going to be any easier.
I mean, you're not out of this at 0-2, but you definitely want the momentum. As Drieky sells back the B for 100 rupees, and there's our boots.
Yep, those boots that we already had, so just getting that partial refund. I guess really it's a 120% refund if you include the B. Just piece of heart here in the chicken hut, but I do think if we go back to the runners in this group, both of them having already taken a loss, you're right that it's not mathematical elimination at 0-2, and it is possible to bring it all the way back to 4-2 if you play well. But it's just
it's going to be harder.
Yeah, it is so tough having these runners that have already beaten you. And if you're looking at the guy that community perception would have you competing for third with, you want to take the W there so that you can just get yourself on your feet as right as possible.
And just as a reminder, group stage is 6 total races. Top 2 records do move on. There are going to be a tiebreakers in case there are runners who wind up getting locked into the same records with each other.
That reminds me, did we have any groups last year where everybody went 3-3?
No, even though we kept a key watch on some of those groups and just absolutely had mortified pain in our eyes as it became apparent that something could happen like that, but never happened.
All right. I do see Drieky gonna go turn in that mushroom real quick here. It is immediately after a save and quit, so if there's nothing on it, he could potentially reset his game. That would let him keep it until he found Samaria, just in case. Looks like PowerToMario doing the same, but we're gonna keep that.
It's totally understandable to try to save that as much as you possibly can. I mean, sometimes these races can come down to a sequence break.
Yeah, fake powder is one of those things. Like, one guy does it in one big race and wins by a mile because of it, and suddenly everybody wants to do it every time they can.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we made our way over to the library. Got ourselves a book over there at the potion shop.
Yeah, we do see Drieky here skipping the dam, going straight to the mini Moldorm cave. I'm curious whether he'll take this to Ice Rod Cave or if he intends to go check Desert as quickly as he can after this.
Mixture of strats here. Drieky's down to limited arrows, so trying to make sure that everything counts. Okay, there we go. Now, I know we have blue mail, but cheer, that was close.
Yeah. Meanwhile, PowerToMario's got a full magic bar that he got off of a tree pole earlier, so he's able to just use the Ice Rod much easier than those real tiny arrows.
So we're at bottle percent. One more bottle remaining until we have the full 4.
75% then, which is a good number. Looks like it is Ice Rod Cave for both runners here. Gonna leave the dam into Desert plus Agina for potentially save and quit shortly after this. With the boots, they can set up some water walks though.
Makes sense, especially since we got that book. And maybe nice hammer. And maybe you're hoping to get that fire source out of the fire rod or the lamp that would allow you to beat Desert if you needed to.
Well, that fire source doesn't really matter too much if we don't have a glove to get back there to begin with.
There you are, speaking that logic again. Drieky laying down the bomb so they can set up the water walk.
He has the water walk armed, so what he's doing here, like he armed it in Ice Rod Cave using the boots, like you saw PowerToMario do. The Drieky is actually taking it, he's storing it by getting the first try fake flippers, which is why he used the bomb. He's gonna water walk out of Hobo here, get that one extra check over PowerToMario.
Fire rod in the waterfall.
Now let's just see a glove here in the Zora region just to top it off.
And we get ourselves a bug catching net for Drieky. Half magic on the ledge.
So PowerToMario should be able to splash delete for that. Drieky might need to drown some bombs that he doesn't have. I don't know, because I know spamming arrows can really screw up your splash deletes with the bow. I don't know so much about what he did in Mini Moldorm Cave and whether that qualifies and screws it up.
And there's PowerToMario getting back onto dry land to set up this next stage. Nice potion. Nice gift right there from the fairy.
Yeah, that's gonna come in handy. And this is a tricky splash delete that Mario's doing because you gotta be fast.
Yeah, he got hung up on the edge there.
Yep.
And he got it held up again. And this is going to be the last try with only 2 bombs. And that's another thing with Drieky here. Drieky only has 2 bombs.
Yep. So yeah, he lost his armed water walk. So but he landed on shallow water, so we got it back there. He's going to give it the one shot that he can.
There we go. Didn't get hung up quite as much as PowerToMario did. PowerToMario also got it brilliantly done for both of these runners. Did not give up on it. And gets rewarded with a half magic. Both runners getting that out of logic, but obviously that fire rod is interesting until we get those flippers. PowerToMario going over here to Eastern.
Yeah.
Drieky's doing the same.
I think the Eastern Palace play makes a lot of sense. You've got the bow, so you can, like, the Dark Room's not in logic even with that fire rod, but even if it's a pendant, you've got everything you need, while you can't fully clear the desert unless you find the glove, so.
Alright, so Drieky realized that they didn't have any bombs. Went into the wrong shop, went into the fortune teller instead of the shop over here. But you don't need any bombs for the back 3 of Sahashala. Obviously, with the boots, you can get to the back that way.
No, but probably just not comfortable having 0 just in case it comes up. He does have other weapons, but it's never comfortable.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely understand.
Yeah, you are right, though. Don't need the bombs to... Like, it is faster to bomb than to boots bonk here, but he's going to bonk anyways.
I mean, there's no worse feeling than getting to a spot where you're about ready to bomb and not having any bombs. Anyone who wants to see that in action, check out back when I was doing the McBoss qualifier back, what is it now, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to my unnamed league teammates trying to play cross keys. Ran into very similar issues.
And the only reason why I bring that up is because I definitely do understand the uncomfortable feeling of not having any bombs at all at some juncture in this run. Bombs is something that you take for granted.
Yeah, especially in the super early game, you're really conscious of them just because it can be difficult to get them before CAC if you don't farm the 50-50 bushes. But once you get even like 20-30 minutes in a run, you typically just assume you have them and don't pay that much attention in my experience.
Until you get to a spot and you see 0.
And speaking of bombs, PowerToMario finding his second 3-pack in this part of the world. That's the first item we've seen out of Eastern.
This is our last in logic check. 10 arrows. I say in logic because even though we do have the fire rod to get to the Armos Knights, that fire rod is out of logic until we get the flippers.
Yep. And of course, this vanilla big key check that PowerToMario going for, not in logic without the lamp regardless.
Mm-hmm.
There are no torches to light up. So Drieky showing off how the fire rod shoots a lot faster, and you can just repeatedly shoot it rather than arrow. You have to wait for it to hit something before you can shoot again, taking out those Stalfos that haven't even spawned yet.
That's something I tend to forget myself, and this is the reason why these two runners have made their way into the main tournament. Time-saving tricks, and it is going to be the last item on the Armos, and PowerToMario saying, I am not going to go further into this dungeon at this point in time, which is an interesting decision. So if Drieky gets something on the Armos Knights, if Drieky stays in here and gets something off the Armos Knights, that is a last location potential for PowerToMario.
Yep, but at the same time, that is one quite slow, out-of-logic pendant boss for PowerToMario, so skipping it does make a ton of sense in my opinion.
So Drieky is going to go to the Armos, and PowerToMario is heading back in. So here's a potential of a setup for you, Reg. What if we get the flippers in Desert for that fire rod to kill the Armos Knights for the Moon Pearl?
And it feels really bad to be PowerToMario right then.
Speaking of Moon Pearl, there it is.
Yep, still need a glove to be able to get to the Dark World, though. So.
And that's the only reason why I bring it up, is because we could be setting ourselves for a very unfortunate walk back, which sometimes that can decide races.
Yep, like it's a very realistic scenario that you just laid out. Just replace Moon Pearl with gloves.
Mm-hmm.
But with a check here, 2 checks in the dam, and the potential for 3 checks in the desert, including the ledge item.
Yeah.
PowerToMario banking on the fact that just the direct progression is here, and it's not the flippers into the fire rod.
And it's not a bad decision for PowerToMario to make. And PowerToMario turns out to make the right decision, as that's just a fiber.
And that was just arrows on the ledge, I believe. So
yep,
we're looking at something in the desert here. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything left.
Something has to be coming up here, because I can't think of anything else that we have to do at this point.
I am not coming up with anything either, which means we're going to see Drieky following the exact same path. Dam into the desert. And here's going to be the first chest.
There it is.
And with that glove pull, we can now kill the land molas as well.
Out of logic, but obviously at this point, this is a crystal dungeon. Beat it.
Yep. Like we were talking about potential skipping the Armos Knights like PowerToMario did because it was out of logic and it was a pendant. But here, you're going to have to come back regardless of what you do.
Yeah. There's your big key right there. And Drieky getting the Moon Pearl. At this point, I am going to assume that second item's on the Lamola. Obviously, if I have the controller in my hand, I am going to check everything here, but I'm just at this stage going to assume.
Wait, was that silver arrows on the ledge?
No.
Okay,
That's just 10 arrows.
I thought it was 10, but then I saw Drieky running it, and I thought I saw the AG. But no, that would be...
It's not hard. It's not open hard, so it's not going to be that.
Yeah, you're right. I am silly. Anyways, you are right.
No, you're right. Not silly.
Yeah. Ah, well.
I mean, we're both silly, but...
I just was seeing things that were just completely not even there.
You know who's silly? The 200 people that are currently watching us here on Speed Gaming 2, watching us bicker back and forth about this. Thank you for being here on this Sunday. This Group X stage. This group stage. Group X, standard boots. What more do you want?
Well, we're getting entertainment value out of this race so far either way. We've had definite interesting decisions between the two runners so far, especially with Drieky going for Armos and PowerToMario skipping it.
Ooh, PowerToMario's going to have to be careful through this stretch. This is a little dangerous for somebody who doesn't have a full magic meter and only one heart.
Yeah, I think there's 2 hearts to pick up in those lower quarters at least.
He will pick those up. But so this is still not a free fight with the current magic meter. Like, Drieky's not going to have as much of an issue because he has a full half magic meter. PowerToMario,
I think this is 5 shots.
And he just missed the first one, missed the second one. So he's going to have to go to something else.
Okay, so it was 7 shots. I was quite off.
I mean, you just have one more hammer hit here.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Does have to be a little bit careful, though, because it does shoot the 8 direction.
And you do have Blue Mail, so it's not a full heart damage that does. The Titan's mitts! Oh, wow!
Thanks, game. Appreciate it.
Double Glove Desert.
That is not something you see every day, but it is one of those exceptionally silly and memorable things when it does happen. So, presumably next, we're just off to the Dark World, right?
You have to be.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we have left at this point is stuff in the Dark World.
Could break logic and go save the old man on the mountain, but that's just a save and quit point, really.
At this point,
here's one.
At this point, you worry about repairing logic when you find out where the flippers are.
Yeah, because those mitts ultimately behind either the flippers or the lamp, one of the two.
And the big thing about the Titan's mitts is, yes, and chat's pointing this out, the Titan's mitts themselves are currently out of logic because where the fire rod turned out to be, but our Dark World access is not. So that's going to tell us several things. Like, for instance, at this point, if the lamp doesn't show up, you can't have the Titan's mitt be your pathway to the flippers.
Yep, and that would potentially come up if you're looking for Swamp Palace access specifically, which we're still a mirror away from that as well, and ideally a hook shot, but we do see it's one of our 5-6 crystals there.
Green pendant over at the Skull Woods, the other pendant being over at the Palace of Darkness. So why did the seed give us a bow? Why did the seed give us a bow? I mean, I know we need a bow to beat this game at some point, but you think about that kind of thing when you see that both Eastern and Pod are pendants.
Yeah, like Pendant Pod is a pretty popular play just in general for having tons of items, and actually we did see bottle percent complete on PowerToMario's side there at the chess game, but...
Yes, we did.
Thieves Town gonna be a play for him.
Hi!
That would be a lot better if we had the mirror.
Yeah, it would be, because then we would be able to do that, but you might actually find yourself more inclined to do the Breadsmith chain. Now, Drieky is going to go ahead and give us a check down here with the Hype Cave. start to this. I like this play, actually. Because you do have the Titan's Mitts, but you might also be recognizing that the Titan's Mitts are out of logic. So, as such, go this way and then start to make your way up northward.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. Is he going to just do the reverse loop and go west and north?
Okay! This is going to pay off a lot for Drieky. First sword!
Okay, even just the mirror and the sword is a great pull out of that cave.
Hype Cave is back, at least for this race.
And it looks like Drieky is going to go west, north, do the reverse loop up to the village, which, with the mirror, he can loop in the smiths with that now.
Yeah. And also activate that flute instantly.
Yep. And he could choose to take it to the mountain real quick, too, because mirror plus hammer gets you to the east side. So yeah, Drieky got tons of options available to him right now. And PowerToMario will have most of the same ones once he gets down to Hype Cave, but it's going to be a bit less smooth just because he can't really backtrack and turn in that smith conveniently.
Yeah. And that's why seeing that mirror was actually pretty huge for Drieky, who spent extra time going to the Armos Knights. That right there is going to give Drieky that time back.
Yeah, just sheer routing efficiency here, being able to do Smith Chain, Purple Chest, or Flute will let him turn in the Purple Chest really quickly and then just Flute right back. He can leave his Mirror Portal at the Weather Vane.
And 3 digs to get ourselves 20 rupees for Drieky, who's now going to go and do the Spreadsmith.
Yep. And it only really matters that you can't do the dig gate. Oh, leaving it behind. That's interesting.
Interesting indeed. Alright. Maybe Drieky's thinking about finishing up with the playover with Thieves Town, but maybe this flute gets Drieky to think differently. Nope, we're okay. We're going to leave the breadsmith behind. Actually, I'm wondering if a lot of what Drieky's doing is waiting until we have the flippers before we start worrying about Titansmith checks.
Yeah, that's not an unreasonable thing. Prioritize the stuff that is in logic. I'm just a very big fan of efficiency, and that includes routing in your out of logic stuff when it is convenient.
And you're not wrong with that idea. You're definitely not wrong. Now, maybe Drieky's also thinking about doing this Thieves Town, getting this dungeon finished off, and then starting to get back more concentrated with the overworld stuff. I don't know. Hookshot in the big chest of Thieves Town.
That is very, very in logic. Yeah, I'm also wondering, PowerToMario already said no to Green Pendant Skull Woods, even checking the front of it. Kinda wondering if Drieky is going to, especially because he can full clear it, although the back is out of luck still.
Hold on. This is going to be an interesting fight here for PowerToMario, no sword.
He has Burna.
Does have the Cane of Burna as a safety, but this is where Drieky will also catch up in some time. Will be able to have the scripted blind because of the sword. Now, PowerToMario does need to switch over. It's going to use the potion. I would have just gone straight to Burna strats at this point. You have half magic.
Yeah, and
now he's switching over.
Magic is not any, or Burna is not any slower than sword. It's getting all the same first frame hits as long as you're on top of them.
Mm-hmm. So Drieky's going to have the hook shot in here, so it's going to have the full clear of the mountain in his arsenal. I mean, both runners are going to when they get done with everything, but it's going to make things interesting as we try to figure out where the flippers are, or, again, where's the lamp?
Yeah, because lamp would just put all the logic back in order by opening up land molas.
Yep.
And then flippers could be anywhere. In fact, if we go somewhere like Dark Death Mountain and we find the flippers there, And that tells us the lamp's available somewhere.
So part of Mario's also making the interesting choice not to do the breadsmith in this position, at least because you're having to go back here to activate the flute as it is.
Yeah, I think this makes some degree of sense, especially when you consider the smith is out of logic right now. And he can just go straight to the mountain with this and get everything up there except Turtle Rock.
Yeah. It's just, again, that routing efficiency that you're talking about, just that's why I'm more commenting about it, just the same way that you were about the breadsmith chain here for Drieky.
Yeah,
we're heading up to the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain makes sense with PowerToMario having taken the S&Q, because the other thing he leaves behind, it's not just the smith chain, it's the entire South Dark World.
Yep.
So he can still route all that in at his convenience.
The only unfortunate thing is if we find something of importance on Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, in that case, PowerToMario going to be in a real rough spot, just not having that mirror out of the height cave.
By the way, just shout outs to our tracker doing the clicking behind the scenes that Drieky does have the mirror that needs to get lit up at some point. Our container for PowerToMario and 2 cabbages right straight to the head.
Yep, but I think he's in good shape as far as those go now. And Drieky 1 room away from getting that hook shot, which is probably the biggest prize out of this dungeon, maybe even more so than the crystal.
Just a piece of heart, so nothing important up there on Spectacle Rock.
Nothing worth talking about inside it either, so we're going to hookshot across the broken bridge and get to all the items.
Seven items inside of Paradox, 4 in Hookshot Cave. Those aren't in logic at this point. Super Bunny has 2. Those aren't in logic. And then Spiral Cave with its single. 2 items inside of Hera. And the item that sits on the Ether Tablet. We can find out what it is. And you can see Drieky doing the scripted fight. This is pretty much where having that sword is a major, major player for Drieky. Nice fight.
Yep, because I did say before that the Cane of Burna is just as fast as the sword because you're still getting the first frame hits there. But for pretty much every runner in the tournament, that scripted sword fight is just second nature at this point. You're very comfortable, very practiced, just sheer muscle memory.
Another sword there. It's in Paradox. That is PowerToMario's first.
Which means that if there is an item on the Ether Tablet, Drieky gonna get that sword when he goes to the mountain and be able to actually pull the item, while PowerToMario is just gonna know it's there and have to come back later. Unless there's another sword on the mountain.
Which is also a possibility too.
Yep, still a good number of checks to pull one.
Magic powder on the floating island.
And that's another thing.
Nice move there by PowerToMario. He accidentally hit the flute because he was going for the hammer, and then realized that if he moved up towards that bridge, he was going to get whisked away. So he stalled his movement before that duck went past him, then went onto the bridge.
Very well done. Good to realize that, yeah, he made that error and didn't.
Good awareness.
It didn't cost him anything at all.
Cost him like a fraction of a second, but getting hauled away by the bird would have been a whole lot more time.
Yep. We do see Hera big key here, so Hera potting is a 0 risk play right here. Although we have fire, so it's just not really risky at all either way. Just might have to come back in after. Alright,
Drieky's just running. Why is Drieky running?
Because he's going to go right next to where the locksmith thief is. He's going to mirror, and the game's going to act like, hey, you've got the purple chest with you. Meanwhile, if the purple chest is actually following you properly, you cannot run, and you can only just go slow and be sad.
Piece of heart. So that completes that play. PowerToMario I think we've seen all the dungeon items here, so sad times downstairs, I think. Ooh, almost got middle to hold.
Almost, but almost is not enough.
The Bobo's tablet!
You know, those are reachable in logic right now. So we're back in logic, basically.
Alright, crystal there for PowerToMario. 2 crystals. 3 crystals, rather.
Yep. 3-2 on the crystal score. Drieky has that pendant that, honestly, we probably don't need, especially with Quake opening up Misery Mire, but could still need it, maybe. It would probably have to be for that Samaria Cane or like an Ether or Bombos for Turtle Rock, but...
People wondering what was on Bombos. The text was Fancy a Swim.
Yep, and we know where 2 swords are. Drieky gonna get his second in a few minutes here once he gets over to Paradox Cave.
Yep.
And we do have to go back for those flippers. It is not just a logic consideration for that fire rod. We need them to get into Swamp Palace. Which, for Drieky, will actually be fully completable once he grabs those flippers. He's got everything else he needs already.
And a piece of heart there inside of the basement. And the unfortunate thing about not having the mirror...
You gotta run out and you gotta manage these crystal switches to do it.
Drieky's coming up here.
Now, Drieky, especially because he does come up here for Spectacle Rock, we could see him just do Hera before the East Side stuff. Would be pretty reasonable. But, sorry, you were going to say something?
Yep, that's exactly what Drieky's doing. I didn't have anything important I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, I thought I don't know, maybe I'm just going nuts.
Oh,
but...
Spike Cave, interesting, okay.
Okay, this one is interesting, but it is a very often left behind check, just because it is usually pretty awkward to route in on the mountain.
I think it's because Drieky is left with a decision at the end of Tower of Hera to either do this or to do Spiral Cave. So take this now, do Spiral Cave after Hera.
Yep, and that is exactly why Spike Cave is so often isolated. You don't typically see runners proactively doing it before other stuff on the mountain like Drieky just did. So they're faced with that dilemma. And
if the Cane of Samaria turned out to be there, that's a big find for Drieky that PowerToMario might put off for a little bit, but we are going to get some of our Dark World, Dark Death Mountain checks.
Then, you know, if Quake opens Turtle Rock, then that Cane of Samaria is go mode for Drieky specifically because he knows about the flippers.
Mm-hmm. And Drake's about to get the sword. In case you're wondering about the sword, the PowerToMario does not have the sword out of Hype Cave. That is also where the mirror turned out to be. For Drieky, the sword coming up here, that 4th chest, 3rd or 2nd from the right there. Nope, I guess I was wrong. It's one of the ones on the left.
It was the middle chest, exactly, I think, yeah.
I forgot what I did for lunch. I guess I should expect me not to know what we're in 5 chests here in this Paradox Cave. Okay, never mind. We have access to every single dungeon.
Yep. Well, we can open the front door of Turtle Rock, but we can't really do anything in there.
Yep. That's more of where I'm going with that statement. And PowerToMario now going to go and do the Spike Cave.
Yeah, good not leaving this behind, even though we know it's nothing, just because it is such an easy to isolate location.
Well,
Turtle Rock.
The thing is, you start isolating checks, it has the greater tendency to really hurt you. The more you're going to get hurt by those isolated checks.
Yeah, and the more of them you have isolated and scattered, the harder it is to get back to all of them.
Yep.
But we did see Bombos opens Turtle Rock. That is in Hookshot Cave, so Drieky gonna have to mirror back or something to open it, but he can wait till he's actually in go mode for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Drieky doing that until he has the Canis and Mario at this point.
Yeah, because with that being his go mode item, he has no reason to do anything after Turtle Rock here. He should just save it for last, go right into GT after.
All right, so the question now turns out to be, where is Arcane and Samaria? PowerToMario now picks up that mirror. And there's that sword upgrade. So one thing is, if that Cane of Samaria is on Magic Bat, that is very awful for PowerToMario.
Yeah, like just the decision to start in the village versus starting in Hype Cave. That divergence is what kept PowerToMario from having the mirror when he was on the mountain, while Drieky does have it. And if it is that one exact location that tempted PowerToMario with the fetch quest that he couldn't actually get.
PowerToMario remembering that he does not have the flippers.
And it looks like he is choosing to forego any potential icebreaker technique in Ice Palace here by coming in here without the cane, but it is still full clearable dungeon.
So Cane of Samaria for go mode. Also, far Tracker doing the button clicking behind the scenes could light up the other two medallions for PowerToMario. There we go. Those trackers, they love to do things on our command, but they're awesome people who make sure that those icons appear up on the bottom of the screen, and we do value their inputs all the time, even if the SpeedGaming inputs get nommed.
Yeah, the SG tracker unfortunately does have some habits, but
it's hungry.
It is.
It's like me, it's hungry.
Yeah, and the trackers we've got behind the scenes pushing those buttons, they do a good job of dealing with it.
Yep. And honestly, I think Drieky at this point skips Hera Basement, one item from Go Mode.
I could absolutely see that. Because, I mean, you can always talk yourself into either skipping or not skipping terrible locations like Hera Basement, like Left Side Swamp, by saying, hey, I'm one item from Go Mode, I should check everything to make sure I leave it behind. Or say, hey, I'm one item from Go Mode, I should skip this because it's probably not here and it's a stupid, slow check.
And yep, so Tower of Hera complete for Drieky, and yes, they do have the Master Sword, so we'll get that number 2 sword lit. Oh! That was unfortunate.
Did he get hit by the fire bar, or what happened there? I don't
know. I don't think he got hit by the fire bar, but just lost it.
That's a little bit unfortunate, but has no trouble getting the bomb jump the second time either,
yeah.
So...
All you need to... Oh, Drieky is going back in. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I can see the mindset being that if it's here, then I last locate it if I don't do it now and therefore lose the race. And I don't want to do that.
And that's a move I can understand. I'm just surprised by it. PowerToMario with another accidental flute. This time the duck will not whisk him away to another location.
And that's something that Quick Swap really allows for.
Yeah. Shoutouts to the Sonic Mania MSU package. We'll flip it over to Drieky in a little bit to see their MSU package.
Yeah, the Sonic Mania is kind of a banger, though.
Drieky now finished off for the Tower of Hera.
Just, I believe, has Spiral Cave left, which is going to be red mail for him.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is the MSU that Drieky is using for today.
Now, is Power to Mario on one item or two items found in Ice Palace so far? Do you know?
I have not been keeping track.
I guess we'll see whether he goes to Ice Tea or just goes straight to the boss. That'll tell us.
Mm-hmm. That would scream we're on 3 items.
Yep, so just leave that low Ice Tea chest behind and go kill a Coltsair.
All right, Drieky, fluting to 4, is about to pick up the flippers. And given where we're going, I wouldn't be surprised if Drake's next stop is Swamp Palace.
Makes sense to me. Swamp Palace is the density play with 6 items at this point, and the crystal.
Oh, just be careful there. Power to Mario, 3 hearts, you're on red mail, so you're not right at death stretch just yet, but you still want to be careful.
I think one more hit? Nope, I miscounted.
There we go.
And you know, when Power to Mario did Hype Cave, he did not head over and check this tablet, did he?
Yeah, Power to Mario did not do the Dig Game or Stumpy or K45 or check this. So Power to Mario still has outs for this route.
Yeah,
but
he did commit to a out of logic Ice Palace looking for a Cane of Samaria, which would put Swamp Palace off the table for him.
And now we'll get the feedback over here. The 2 heart containers that are inside Meyer's shed. Right now, Power to Mario needs to find this Cane of Samaria in a place that Drieky's not going to search for a little bit. But Power to Mario needs to know about those flippers ASAP.
Yeah, and then when he does find out about those flippers, though, he will likely be tempted right into Swamp Palace, which is something Drieky's doing right now.
Chad, talking about Vanilla Cane, I think that might be one of the few outs that Power to Mario has at this stage.
The other thing, though, if he finds... Okay.
All right, so the Fire Rod... I think I'm just trying to do some math right there. I've given up.
I think, just off the top of my head, without going back and hard counting it out, the lamp is actually earlier in logic than the Fire Rod. But they're both available before the mid, so it doesn't matter.
They're on the same spear, I think.
Yeah, I think they're either the same or the lamp is one earlier. Not 100% sure. Not going to count it out either. Now let's see how Drieky approaches the left side swamp here. He did Hera basement. We haven't seen a dungeon item in Swamp Palace yet, and no one wants to do left side for a map compass combo.
Or the worst find of, hey, we're going to make you do this for an item, but we're also going to put you a big key there, so you have to go backwards. And Chad reminding us that, remember my intuition about Pendant Pod earlier, about why we got that bow? That's still a question mark.
Yeah, and I mean, the entire Pendant Pod logically on the table now. Could definitely be. But we do see Power to Mario did take the dip into Meyer here. At this point, I am concerned that if the cane does turn out to be in the dungeon, does he go play Turtle Rock? Because that puts the flippers way out of the way if he does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it is here, Does Drieky full clear the rest of the world before going into Mire looking for it?
I mean, Drieky will be funneled into it because won't be subjected to Turtle Rock, but probably would have to dip into a Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, I think he would do Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods both before dipping into Mire without the cane. That's just my impression.
Red Rupee over here on left side swamp. The other... Cadence of Mario's there!
53 minutes and 28 seconds, Rick.
If you skipped left side swamp, you are setting yourself up for a lot of pain. Drieky's thoroughness comes through in the end. Drieky's in go mode.
Yep, and it's just absolutely in his favor at this point.
Part of
Power
Mario's-
Mario. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say part of Mario's heading over here, but is probably several minutes right now behind, depending on how part of Mario routes this thing. Is about to find out about these flippers here. So that's going to be good news, but at this point, part of Mario is... Actually, I take that back.
He's not quite as behind as he looks if he goes right into Swamp and does left side, because he's already got Ice Palace all done.
Yes.
And he's already got the Mire Big Key. Like, it is God Mire. The Big Key is in the Spike Chest, so Drieky not going to lose a lot of time.
That walk back is just so weird.
I've seen that a few times before, but I have no idea what it is or how it works.
So this race, it's not Drieky's full advantage at this point, especially if part of Mario does go left side swamp. But let's just put it this way. Right now, stick around. We're going to have ourselves a hot finish coming up here as Drieky still has to do Ice Palace.
Yeah, I would say Drieky is probably in a bit of an advantageous position right now.
Well, Drake's going to be...
Power to Mario skips the left side of Swamp, it is very, very much closer than it looks.
Drieky is in a position right now where we have a Godmire, as you pointed out, and we'll have the Cadence of Mario to do Ice Palace.
Yep, which if both of those are to his advantage, since Power to Mario full cleared both of those looking for items, but it's still stuff that Power to Mario has already done.
Yeah. The battle between the third and fourth quartiles in Group X, hoping to bounce back after their opening losses to Tam and to Big Dunka, the top two quartiles of this group. Drieky's about ready to mirror. Is going to head to 8 to Ice Palace.
Yep, and we'll see with the Icebreaker here just how fast this dungeon can be in Go mode.
How did that fireball not hit Drieky?
Jumping magic.
Had to be.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Link doesn't take damage when he jumps, even though I don't know whether that's the case. Because there's no Rock's Feather in this game or anything, so it's just situations like that. Okay. Decision time for Power to Mario. Looks like he's going to the back.
A bit unfortunate, but the bigger question is, what will Power to Mario do when he is done?
Yeah,
we know it's 2 items on the left side.
Yeah, because it's like I said when Drieky was going to the left side, no one wants to do left side swamp for map plus compass. And we haven't seen either one to this point in the dungeon for Power to Mario. So definitely hedging against that, and it is pretty easy to go back in. It's a tad slower, but it's not like end of the world. And actually, that big key is definitely another reason to go back in. So I do think it's probable PowerToMario goes back in for the left side here. But he absolutely needs to as well.
If we could get a quick music swap over to PowerToMario as we finish off this Swamp Palace. Yeah, I knew they were going Hydro City with this music. I just wanted to hear what we did for this dungeon. I knew it was going to be Hydro City.
Well, what else would it be?
Aquatic Zone, maybe? But no, Hydro City is the obvious choice.
Yep, and sometimes when you're making MSUs, that's all you gotta do.
I mean, the Sonic collection also uses Hydro City for the swamp play too. Nice kill for both.
Yep, synchronized boss kills here. PowerToMario got his map. I think that leaves Compass in the big chest. I don't think we actually saw that. So as long as he goes back in, he's still in it.
If he leaves, that's it. But I think Drieky has the lead because it takes a while to get over there to the left side. He's going back in, so he will get the cane, but I think Drieky has the lead at this point.
Yep, Drieky knocked out that Ice Palace well and quick. And he is headed for Mire now, where we know the big key is in the spike chest, so-called God Mire, because you don't have to check very many things for it.
All right. All right. The unfortunate thing about having Quake as the medallion is this right here.
Yeah, that bird flying around is hitting Drieky there.
Yeah, you lose the heart, now lost an extra heart just because you couldn't get into the door fast enough, but that removes the beams for this room, but we do have half magic and fire rod. We're just going to roast everything.
Yep, get the heart drop there. Not going to get that heart drop to get his beams back, but doesn't really need them at this point.
Chat noting that PowerToMario almost mirrored out of this Swamp Palace.
Yeah, he sat there for a couple seconds. He was very strongly considering it once he pulled that compass, but 2 items, too much allure.
All right, as Drieky's about to get the big key in just a moment, chooses to go with the bridge chest over here first.
Yeah, bridge first is normal.
Here we go. What should be a really interesting finale to this race. And this is close enough that decisions in GT, execution in GT can still matter. Obviously, again, Drieky has a narrow lead. We're talking probably about a minute and a half tops at this point, because all that PowerToMario is going to need to do is just go straight to Vitreous.
Yep, which Drieky is already on his way there, but that's probably, what, like 6 rooms or so for PowerToMario of varying sizes? It's something like that. But regardless, the other thing to note, like you mentioned Ganon's Tower, but even before we get there, even before we get to Turtle Rock, there is some tricky execution here in Misery Mire. Drieky having trouble hitting the anti-fairy for his spooky action.
At this point, just spend the bomb and hit the switch.
Yeah.
Oh, we finally got it. Finally got it, but that was definitely plenty of time. Now, of course, the lead is big enough that Drieky can afford this.
But we are looking at Vitreous with Master Sword and no silver arrows, no cape either. This fight can be kind of dangerous even on Red Mail because that goo is fixed 1 heart, and these things take a lot of damage.
Double ooh! Drieky down to 1 heart, takes the health refill, but that was dangerous.
Yep. Did have the blue potion in his back pocket the whole time, but that refill isn't too fast either.
Refills a lot faster than taking a death back to start, though.
Oh, no doubt about that. And that is all the eyes down as PowerToMario is in the basement.
103-25 on the crystal grab for Drieky. As Drieky collects crystal number 6, we still got one more to do. Turtle Rock is on our agenda for the next stop.
Did we lose PowerToMario's timer at some point? I'm pretty sure it was running before.
Yes.
That is a little bit unfortunate. Won't be able to time that very effectively.
It just happened, and it may be what caused him to have some of the issues that he did in that Meyer room there, that Meyer basement.
Maybe, yeah.
But they are pretty well synced up to the point that it is the correct times for both of these runners.
Yeah, so we can just time it off of Drieky's timer.
Yep.
And we do see PowerToMario going with safe strats here, although very laggy strats.
All right, off we go to Turtle Rock.
And that's 104.48 on the crystal grab for PowerToMario. So that's, what, a minute and a half, you said?
That is a minute and 13... No, that's 17 seconds. A minute 17. No. Minute 23, that's the difference. Minute 23.
Okay, and still time to continue attempting to make that up, especially on the relatively low percent offensive gear they're on. Master Sword, no silver arrows.
Yeah, you get to
some room for execution.
You get to find out how comfortable these two runners are with a hammered Trinex coming up here in just a moment if we don't find that tempered sword.
Yep, still a good number of checks to pull it, but good amount of junk left in the item pool too to find.
PowerToMario going up here. That's Drieky now lighting the torches.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Berna to just bypass all of this. Probably mirror back out afterwards. Yep, then get that full magic refill.
That's... Don't usually see 2 items on that side like that.
Yeah, and that means that if we were to hypothetically come in here without the fire rod, we would be able to get all the way to Laser Bridge.
You watch your mouth.
It didn't come up this seed because we got the fire rod real early, even if it was out of sequence.
I know. I still had to say that to you. Means that we're going to get a key here with the chain chomps. Means we're going to get the big key in the big key chest. It also means that we're probably not playing the 20 and 21 game.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the odds of that go way, way down when you have to spend that key on the lava chest.
Mm-hmm. If you're Drieky, how nervous do you feel? Because you did finish Eastern and got nothing out of it. So the question mark then becomes, are you worried that PowerToMario skipped out on the Eastern play and chose to go straight to Desert, where the progression was all this time? Minutes can definitely come back to hurt you in several cases. What really helped out Drieky in this race was that starting at Hype Cave, going northward, where PowerToMario went north and didn't really get back to south for a while.
I mean, PowerToMario still hasn't done Stumpy Dig Game in Cave 45, has he?
No.
Yeah, he got the flippers and he just took them straight to Swamp.
And Oh, that's unfortunate.
That feels bad. Yeah, that feels very bad. But yeah, I think chat put it pretty well. How nervous are you? Yes. But to give a more serious answer here, if I'm in Drieky's shoes right now, I do think probably feeling pretty good about avoiding Palace of Darkness, about avoiding Skull Woods, the entire North Dark world. That was a nice pull.
Don't lose cape.
Yeah, and that cape is, if we're stuck on Master Sword against Ganon, that cape is going to be just real nice to have, especially if we can get magic refills somewhere along the way.
I mean, we will have the full magic going into Ganon, thanks to the magic jar just before Moldorm 2.
Yeah,
Drieky does have a green goo in the pocket.
Yeah, the green goo is going to be important if we're on Master Sword and no silver arrows, because if you want to use the cape there, you're still going to need a good chunk of the magic bar for the silverless phase. Lamp will help a lot with that, but Fire Rod is faster.
And Drieky getting ready with the cape, getting ready for Laser Bridge. We know a key is going to be there.
And have we seen both map and compass already, or I lost track?
There's map. Really haven't been keeping track, but I think they're still both in play. Yep.
Yeah, they were. So key's going to be here. Trinex is going to have an item, which means we're fighting Trinex on a Master Sword or Hammer, runner's preference. And we do have somebody in chat asking how the runners are switching items without pausing. So the randomizer has a feature called Quick Swap, where you can switch between items in sequence using the L and R buttons, your shoulder buttons. Because those aren't really used for anything else in the game. The randomizer devs just repurpose them for that. And it does lead to some interesting strats being available.
Yes, indeed. Drieky doing a pretty solid job here with this Trinex. Got a little issue there, but nothing that has been out of control just yet. Took a couple of bumps from Trinex itself. By the way, there is a prediction in chat if you're watching this live on where you think the Ganon Tower Big Key is going to be. Which room do you think it's going to be in? So get those points in now. They will close once we go into GT. Drieky, stage 2. PowerToMario. That is full of a life, as we saw from Drieky. By the way, Drieky has one safe. Oh, be careful, be careful, be careful! There we go.
All good. Never a doubt in this.
And a heart container. Drieky, crystal number 7. PowerToMario. Oh, skipping those 2 checks. Okay, that's interesting.
We know he's gonna get not punished for them because, I mean, there's no sword, no silvers in there, not like anything else he needs.
But he's definitely going to need to watch his life at 5.5 hearts as Drieky heads to Ganon's Tower. 22 possibilities where the big key can be. Pick a number between 1 and 22 or put your points on the line. Tell us where you believe the big key is going to be. Reg, where do you think it's going to be?
I put all my channel points on the any other location option, even though I'm usually a big fan of the randomizer room.
And really, the any other location refers to a lot of those singles, like the torch and the compass, or not the compass, but the map chest and the snake chest. And please be careful, PowerToMario gets that second head down. Drieky going to the Hope Room. Here we go, GT! Let's determine this race. Heart container for 15. Big key in 2!
Okay, that's really unfortunate for PowerToMario, just because it means there is no time to save on routing Ganon's Tower. We do see Drieky going for, well, if the key was on the torch, he would have taken it, but going for this pot key here, because you really want to have at least one already in hand when you go up. That guarantees you won't get stuck.
So if you picked the Hope Room, you are the big point winners of 13-1. Congratulations. Someday SpeedGaming will figure a way to actually have people spend their points for good reasons. Maybe we can get Fuzel to actually showcase a game on stream.
That might be fun. Ooh, those mimics not playing super nice with Drieky there.
Yeah, a couple of missed arrows right there. I think Drieky had a little bit of a panic moment too, fighting the nerves. I mean, we're at an hour 13 in. Trying to come back from your first race loss, trying to get your even record out. As PowerToMario goes over to the right, we'll get the big key in the Hope Room as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, I think Drieky thought he had that mimic dead and was thrown off when it just didn't die. And then had to read and react to that.
PowerToMario gets the big key. Now going to head over here to the key that's underneath the pop, because you never want to climb it with 0 keys, because bad things can happen. When you do, you feel absolutely bad when you get to that pre-Moldorm 2 chest and it's not a key and your key count says 0.
Yeah, nobody wants to climb the tower twice, and that is exactly what that scenario leads to.
And that could very well, and it would in this case, determine the race.
Yep, it is close enough that it is still possible. PowerToMario outplays, then could make up a good chunk of the time and bring it back, but Drieky already having lane modes 2 down, very strong position right now.
Drieky played in the league last season in the Invitational League with the team TM32. PowerToMario, I believe, was in the Open League last season. PowerToMario kind of came onto the scene as far as his rando running was concerned in last year's tournament. Last year's main tournament.
Walls like it was going out of style.
Yeah, he played in what, like 15?
Yeah.
He played in a lot of them.
Yep. And this year we took away his ability to do that, and he responded by making top 128. And meanwhile, like Drieky, like you said, he was Invitational League last year. He was also in the top 128 last year. He didn't make it out of the group stage, but did put up a 2-4 record, I believe it was.
Drieky's movement here just screams I'm nervous at this point, just based on what happened there with the torches. A couple of extra flailing around movements as we look for another sword. Interesting note by Sawyer that PowerToMario was in the Mentor tournament by Go Mode Podcast last year. Drieky being one of the mentors.
Okay, I knew he was in that Mentor tournament, and I saw he put up a very good showing. I think it was a top 4 placement in that, which is very, very respectable. I did not see that Drieky was actually one of his mentors for it.
Mentor versus mentee. And both are pretty close to each other. Drieky missed on a swing there. Gotta keep yourself calm. Oh, that worried me that he was gonna get bounced back into the hole, but takes care of the Moldorm 2. Now, will the final chest have something we need? Of course not. It's Master Sword and maybe Silverless, unless we try to scout out that pyramid.
Honestly, I think if I were in Drieky's shoes right now, with the apparent nerves he's shown, I would probably go Scout Pyramid Ledge. Just to see that one-off chance for some last-second comfort and relief. Because the Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight, it is all about finding the rhythm on the Silverless phase. And once you get into a rhythm and have your pattern going, it's not too bad, but it is very long. And it can get off the rails.
Nice doubles to start off this fight for Drieky. Nice doubles, 2, 2, and 2 for Drieky as we get ready for the second stage. And PowerToMario is going to be going into this with 4.5 hearts. Did not grab the powder that Drieky did because he was up the mountain without the mirror.
Yep, and when he came back for Turtle Rock, he didn't want to spend the time grabbing it because that is a little bit slow out of the way.
Nice Moldorm 2 for PowerToMario. Drieky getting ready to fall into Ganon. Do we scout the Pyramid Ledge? No, we don't. We're just going straight in. Drieky feels that he has to move now.
Yep. 10 hearts has the sword spin charged. Master Sword means only the spins hurt Ganon. Couldn't get the double spin there off the trident, but can get some off the wall here.
Yeah, beautiful doubles right there. That's 6 total spins right now and gets him into the beautiful upper right corner.
Problem is, it's hard to take advantage of that in phase 1 where Ganon's throwing the trident instead of standing still with the fire bats.
Right, but it's still the best position possible to get some doubles. Now we get to stage number 2. This is all about patience. You're using your cape for as much of an advantage as you possibly can. PowerToMario finishes off with the Aga 2 fight. Just be patient. That is the biggest thing. Now, Drieky does still have that green goo, so if he runs out of magic, it's not an issue.
Yep. Was not holding the wall to try to preserve some magic there on the cape, so he is out on 8 hearts.
Yep, but again, that green goo right there. PowerToMario's doing the same. He's got to move. Stage 3 takes a fire bat to the face while Ganon teleports.
And it is worth noting, PowerToMario, when he gets to phase 3, gonna get all the same teleports, so these are pretty mean, but PowerToMario not gonna gain time on them.
These are nervous-inducing teleports, I tell ya. You just want this fight done and over with. You want to get this to stage 4. All these teleports do is just cause you to get further and further nervous. PowerToMario, stage number 2.
Using the hook shot for the iframes.
Can we please stop warping Ganon? Stay in one place, please. Ooh, Drieky almost missed that cycle. Does get it, though. Almost had to step out of that one. Stage 4 coming up. PowerToMario into stage 2.
Silver arrows and Misery Mire cutscene chest. PowerToMario didn't do that one looking for the cane in there.
Oh my. That was not the place I was expecting.
Yeah, I thought that PowerToMario had gotten both items, and that's why he bailed.
That was the only place he didn't search.
Yep.
The only place he didn't search. Who knew that cutscene chest would have saved him some time here with this fight? But he's dealing with the warps. If Drieky can stay on this platform, Drieky will have won this race. Needs to remain calm.
Going.
That's the biggest thing. You got to remain calm. Choose your battles. Don't be too aggressive. Being aggressive is what gets you flown off the edge.
Yeah, above all, just don't let the fire bat hit you.
Yeah, and the reason why the fire bat would hit you is because you're just getting absolutely nervous. You're letting your nerves take over for these 24 spins.
Yeah,
nice triple cycle here for Drieky.
The triples are good. Fire Rod is largely what enables them. I think they're theoretically possible with Lamp, but not really.
Ganon's got to be right next to you or getting close to being next to you if that's the case, if you're going to get it with a Lamp.
PowerToMario into phase 4 as well, but Drieky with a definite edge here.
Just needs to remain calm. Don't take an unfortunate hit. And that's it. Drieky will win this race.
Yep, just gotta wait through the fanfare, then he can cross the bridge and be done.
Get your GGs in for Drieky. A great effort there from PowerToMario, but Drieky's route, just the mid-game route was a piece of what gives Drieky the advantage in this race and just took it all the way to the finish.
Yep, and it does put him across the bridge with a time of 1:21.52. See PowerToMario here going for those fire rod shots. Just lighting the torch, spinning Ganon.
And it's the case here, and I do want to point this out, that Silver's unlikely we're going to make the difference, although PowerToMario would have saved a bunch of time on that Vitreous fight.
Yeah,
but you would have
fighting Ganon are the two places you want them.
But you would have ended up having to spend some time waiting for the cutscene to open up. I believe I did hear the noise. Drieky, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. That was a seed. it was definitely a seed. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting it to have all the items at the end so quickly.
And there is PowerToMario finishing up the Ganon fight. Sweet fight for both of you on that stage 4 of Ganon. As PowerToMario is going to go ahead and cross the bridge as well. Get your GGs in chat. All right, Drieky. One of the bigger advantages, we were talking about your route in the middle there. You chose to go Hype Cave up over towards Thieves Town. PowerToMario started over towards the Village of Outcast. And one of the bigger things came into play was that you scouted that Bombos tablet to find out that Fancy as Swim was there.
I was so confused by the hints. I wasn't sure if it was the flippers, but I was like, swim, it has to be. So I just keep that in mind. And yeah, after this, I was just scouting Maya and Turtle Rock to be sure what was required for medallions. Of course, there was all in the mountain anyway.
As we welcome in PowerToMario in here as well.
Hey there, GG Drieky, merci beaucoup. Thank you for the race. I had a lot of fun racing you, dude.
Yeah, GG.
So, that's where another sword was. Apparently underneath the shovel, which we never found.
Another sword would have been nice.
Would have been extremely nice, but those silvers that you missed out on cutscene chest and Mire would have been nice too.
For sure.
But interesting seed with the way it opened up, giving you the access to that fire rod by way of sequence breaks, and then both gloves being in desert.
Both gloves being in desert was crazy. I don't know. Is there ever a situation where you don't finish the boss when you get that glove and that Dark World access? So some people might be tempted to leave it behind and be like, okay, well, we have all these checks. Everything else might be out there, but I'm like, no, it's a crystal. Just finish. You don't know what's going to be on it.
You don't need to skip because it's a crystal, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both of you chose to do that. Now, I do want to ask you one question, PowerToMario.
Mm-hmm.
You got the compass out of the big chest in Eastern, one item on the Armos Knights. What led to your decision to leave Eastern without finishing the boss?
Lamp.
And out of logic fire rod.
Out of logic fire rod for sure. Yeah, just it's not in logic, so I figured my progression was probably not there, and it's a pendant boss. So.
And it makes sense. Now, Drieky did finish off the Armos Knights. We found out that it was 5 rupees. We were playing in our minds a situation that we were going to get the lamp somewhere in desert, and that was going to lead to a glove or something of that nature over on the Armos Knights. Now, somebody brought up in chat, and I do want to ask about this. Looking when these groups were figured out, when the bot drew these groups before after the qualifiers and before group play began, how interesting did it feel that now the mentor gets to take on the mentee in this group phase?
I don't know. What do you think, Drieky?
We didn't talk about it, but the only things I saw was nice. I have something I know in the group. It's always nice to raise people you know. But besides that, I mean, since the Monty, it's been a while. I know PowerToMario was already a good player at the time and progressed, so I didn't pay attention to it more than this. But I just saw it was going to be interesting to race that way.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool, sort of full circle to have Drieky as my first mentor. Kind of, our session was really focused around very basic principles in playing the game. That would be helpful in shaving off time overall. One of the big ones was killing enemies is slow. And that's a big one that stuck out with me that he taught me early. As I see a lot of runners, they spend, there's some completionists out there. They spend a lot of time over the course of a seed doing a sword slash, doing a fire rod cast unnecessarily when you could just walk, or if you have boots. That's another thing. He told me, if you have boots and you can run, try to run instead of walk. So yeah, it was super cool to race Drieky again after a year about.
And this time around, the mentor defeats the mentee, but it wasn't by a whole lot. It was a very close race, and it could have gone either way after a while, but just a little bit of routing difference, and Drieky ends up coming away with a winner on this one. Now, let me ask this question for both of you. I'll start with PowerToMario. You have one more match between each other here coming up. What would you like to see for race number 2 between you two? What mode would you like to see?
My least favorite. I like this mode, but I also don't like racing it in tournament play because it's nerve wracking. MC bosses I would not want to see. But I'd like to try to play a Key Sanity against Drieky. I think Fat Keys would be a good mode.
And what about you, Drieky?
I was about to say Fat Keys also, not because of the key, but just all dungeon. It's I mean, Fat Keys is always fun. I don't know what else. I would say between us, hard mode could be interesting, but I just don't like this mode. I don't want to see it never. So yeah, I will say with Fat Keys.
So we'll see what winds up happening. Do you both have a time scheduled for your second match with each other yet?
Not yet, but we'll probably talk about it over the next day or two.
Let's wish you both the best for that race. Maybe we can get another nice close race like this one.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But GG's to
thanks,
both
Rick,
of you.
and thanks, Reg, for commentating.
Absolutely. This was one of those matches where I know both of the runners through other sources, and I'm like, yes, I want to do this race. Reg, what are you doing on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon?
I am having a hell of a good time having watched this race for the past hour and 20. Like, I was very greatly entertained by it. Good run from both of you. And I'm glad that I was here to help call it.
So yeah, GG's to both of you, and good luck in your remaining of your group matches. I know having to face off against Big Dunka and Tam can be quite a challenge, but who knows? Anything could happen here in this group stage. This thing isn't done for either of you just yet.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
see what happens. Gonna be fun. Thanks for commentating and for the restream.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up here. A couple of notes here. First of all, don't forget the No Kid Hungry Marathon is going on right now as we speak over on SpeedGaming, which will feature a lot of great runs. I know there's a Sonic block going on right now as we speak with Super Sonic running some games. Special thanks to Pixcalibur, who did the buttons clicking for this race. Did an awesome job. Also, if you're looking for more Link to the Past randomizer, there are races going on all throughout this afternoon, including a restream run that's going on right now as we speak over on SpeedGaming 3, 5, and 6. And coming up next year on this channel, we have Aria of Sorrow randomizer, which will begin in 15 minutes. Reg, had fun. It's been a blast.
Absolutely has, and just I want to give big shout out and thanks to the runners, because without you guys we wouldn't have any show to put on here. So
yeah, and I do want to
deserve all the credit.
And I do want to point out that you both did a phenomenal job in this race. It was a well done race for both of you.
Thank you very much.
Glad to hear it.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Reg, I'll let you have the final word. I'm Adirondack Rick.
Yep, I've been Reg, and our runners were awesome, and we'll see you guys some other race.